right, everybody, it's time for another podcast here on Rage Select.
Welcome.
Yep. And Jason, how are you doing today? How's it going today?
It's going all right.
Yeah.
About 3 or 4 Lone Stars in.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Okay. All right.
You? How are you doing?
I thought I had a heart attack yesterday. It was
you
pretty
did?
crazy.
Really?
Well, okay, so Grant and I played a Connect game yesterday. And we got done recording. Grant went home. I got Taco Bell. Like, there's this whole stream of events where nothing was ever happening. I ate my Taco Bell, and I was got finished eating my Taco Bell. I was watching Boardwalk Empire, and I was like, man, my left arm is like kind of tingly, like, right?
Shit, dude.
And ever since I turned, like, call it like 33, like, I just am incredibly afraid that I'm now in a risk group for heart attack. Like, I'm fucking have a coronary.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize is that we had played a Connect game where we were punching the screen a whole bunch. And I was like throwing up a virtual tennis ball because this happened, and I was just like, well, it's usually shooting pains, but I'm all right now. And then it was like hours later, and I was going to bed. I was like, man, my arm still hurts. And it was like, yeah, dumbass, you fucking pulled something because you play video games all day for a living. It's like, man, I don't know.
That's great.
That's stupid as hell.
Oh, man. Oh, man, you can't die.
I know.
Because you know who's going to find you? Me.
Oh, you?
Probably.
You just I can just see you over here just pounding on my door like, hey,
like,
we're supposed to record today, asshole.
Like, Archer, open the door.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you worry about that? Do you worry about the
I wouldn't say worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I got all sorts, because I'm an Irishman. I'm a freckly guy, right?
Yeah.
I got all these things, spots on my arm. I'm like, well, that looks like cancer. I got all these like weird shaped things on my arm where it's like, I got to go get that checked out. Probably don't want to mention it to Allison because Allison is like hypersensitive to health issues since she's made of like paper mache.
Especially that one time where you had the guy with the little arms coming out of your stomach.
That
He kept
sucked.
Telling you to start the reactor.
That sucked until I open your mind, Murphy.
That's right.
But yeah, every now and then I'm like, oh, that's a weird chest pain, and I've got sleep apnea, and so that's like ups your risk of having a heart attack like by an order of magnitude.
Yep.
And then my diet, the drinking, and the lack of exercise. It's a matter of time. I'm a ticking time bomb. Something's going to happen probably within the next 5 years. Fortunately, Allison doesn't listen to this show,
right?
So she's not going to get freaked out, but probably within the next 5 years, like heart attack, bowel cancer,
right?
Something like that.
Yikes.
Yeah.
This went dark, man.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
It is what it is.
I didn't. Oh, you know what? Actually, I didn't do a lot last weekend. So this little opening part where we talk about stuff. Man, I just I went out and drank at the bar.
Yeah.
On Friday, I thought I was going to throw up, and I actually declined a trip to Jim's with our friend Peter.
Yeah, that's weird.
Which I love going to Jim's after I've been drinking, but I had I had a tiny amount of Panda Express for lunch because I was really full.
Yeah,
and then I did a shot of Jaeger while I was there, and it was just like, no, this is
at Panda Express. They have Jägermeister.
Yeah, sure. You have to ask for it.
I didn't know that.
Like, do you want any sweet, sour, hot mustard? And you say
or
no.
Jägermeister.
But if you could pour some Jaeger into that little plastic cup you guys put the sauce in, I like to dip my egg rolls in the Jägermeister.
What did you ask me the other day? We were at the bar, and you're like, Jägermeister. Meister means master. Jaeger means deer, right? I'm like, no, Jeff. It means hunter.
Hunt, yes. Well, there's a deer on the
I know
thing.
I know.
What am I, German? Come on.
Yeah, because in Pacific Rim, they're like, unleash our deer to go fight the monsters.
Might as well have been, right, man? Those guys got fucked up. I put on Pacific Rim the other day and then went to sleep in it. I tried
Gypsy Danger and Bambi.
I tried to take a nap, right? And then every time I would accidentally wake up a little bit because my dog moved or something, and I opened one eye to look at the screen. Some robot was getting its arms torn off or getting fucking sodomized by a kaiju. So
kaijus love fucking robots.
Yay, man! I actually think some of the robots in there, I'm like, do you guys? Is this your first time driving the robots? Because you got 3 arms, but boy, you went down like a bitch. Maybe, and I've said this before, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I like Pacific Rim, but I think that they should have, in the time that they were fighting these giant monsters, developed some tactics that were not just pick monster up, throw monster.
You know
because they do that a lot in that movie.
You know who's going to hear this and bitch at us?
Matt Frank.
Yes.
I'm sure he has an explanation already.
Okay, Matt, get it out in the comments. Go ahead. Or text me. It'll be one of those.
He's going
or
to
send
show
me a
up at
message
my
on
door.
Facebook.
Show up at my door all like,
Yeah.
listen, motherfucker.
He's going to show up with a whiteboard.
Yeah.
and he's like, just make yourself comfortable.
Hey, you know what? When that movie came out, I was on his side because he was militant, like, I love Pacific Rim.
Still is.
And it still is. And I don't have any problem with Pacific Rim.
He brought it up in the comments the other day. I was like, I just felt like the dude in Big Lebowski. It's like, man, not everything has to do with fucking Nam, Walter.
But seriously, go back and watch that movie again, especially when they're in the bay and they're all just basically like waist deep in water, right? They just keep picking up. It would be like if you were at the pool and we were in a fucking fight to the death and you just pick me up over your head and then throw me into the 3-foot end, and I'd just be like,
Yeah, because I want a herniated disc.
Well,
that's what I want.
I'm not that fat, man. Come on.
Well, it doesn't matter. It
Oh,
doesn't-
you're that weak.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
It's
go
like,
with
I
that.
threw my back out bending over to put paint on a paintbrush last time I fucked up my back.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I heard it tear.
I remember that.
I heard it tear and pop, and that was a terrifying noise.
I still will-
when you hear things in your body just rip, pop, pop.
I will never forget. It was probably about 7 years ago, somewhere around there. I was working for this company as a facilities dude. I've told this story before, but it's been a while. I was working as a facilities dude, so we would do rack mounting of servers and stuff like that. So I actually learned how to do like cabling and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I totally forgot it the minute I left, but there was a day where we had to pull this server out because somebody needed to get at the wiring in the back of it, and it was on a rack that was up against another rack. So the only way to do it was we had to pull it out. Actually, we're replacing it. So we pull one out, we replace it. And it's me and this other guy and this third guy because we had to lift it up and we had to plug all this stuff into it, and then we had to slide it into the place.
Yeah.
So me and this other dude were holding this fucking like quad.
God, what was it, like a 5U server or something?
Yeah, something like that. It was one of the big ones. It
I'll
wasn't
say, because like the 1 and 2Us, those are pretty light.
No,
pussy.
yeah, dude. I mean, we used to unbox 72Us and then rack them by ourselves.
Oh,
like,
geez.
just,
Yeah.
that would be a whole day. It'd be like start to finish, rack them, cable them, boom, you're done. But we had this thing, and we were standing there, and suddenly I felt a pain.
Oh.
I felt a tingle that was like the beginning of a pain.
Yeah.
But I felt it kind of below my stomach, near my crotch in that area, and I was like, "There's never been a pain in this area before. This is a hernia." Like, I've never had a hernia, but this has got to be what it feels like, right? Because I'm not lifting with my balls, right? Like,
If you were a real man, you would have been.
so I was standing there, and the guy was almost done, and I was like, hurry, hurry, hurry. He's like, what? I'm like, pain, hurry, hurry, hurry. And he was like, oh, shit, oh, shit, oh, shit. And then we just like ram that shit in there.
Yeah, then you drop it, and it's like, well, there's $8,000.
Yeah, exactly. That place was, man, they had some crazy stuff, but I have an NDA. I don't think anybody from that company listens to this podcast, but I won't even say the company online because that was crazy, crazy shit. Like, they had to scan my eyeball to go in the door.
Really?
Crazy shit, yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I won't say anything else about that. But
Wow.
but that, my weekend, Jägermeister, and then I guess I saw like 70% of everybody that we know at another bar. It was like this rotating cavalcade of stars on Saturday night.
And assholes.
Well, but you went to a wedding this weekend.
Oh,
last
I
weekend,
did.
right?
Yeah, that's right. Forgot about that. I was trying to think, what did I do this weekend? I don't think I did anything.
Yeah.
No,
Look at
I
you.
went to a wedding.
Have you looked at your Facebook profile picture recently?
I did. Yeah, that's where it comes from. Yeah.
How was it? What was
it was good. It was a wedding.
Uh-huh.
You know, it was. Well,
let's go run down the checklist, right? Religious ceremony?
No.
Okay.
No, not really.
Did the
It was a ceremony, but not really religious at all.
So there wasn't like 40 minutes of a priest guilt tripping you into getting married.
No. There was this guy just talking. You know, it was cool. It was like a friend. It was an ordained
marriage.
Yeah, marriage. It was a friend of the groom that he had grown up with.
Okay.
He's a guitarist from Karaoke Apocalypse, my friend Mario.
Okay.
And his lovely wife Courtney. Great people. Big nerds. Like them a lot. It was one of his friends from growing up, and this is what a shitty guy I am. Walks up, and so a lot of Mario's family is from Juarez, which is border city over by El Paso.
I've been to Juarez,
and so the guy comes up and he says, the minister or whatever he was. He comes up and he says, this ceremony for those who do not speak English will be delivered bilingually. And I immediately thought, shit, now it's going to be twice as long. Yeah. And Allison was clapping and glowing. You know, she was just like, "Oh, weddings, weddings!"
Right.
She was all excited.
All the girl hormones. Kicked
totally,
instantaneously.
She was just grinning the entire time. She was on cloud nine. But yeah, it was a great ceremony, and it was beautiful. It was perfect out, and it was really pretty. And then we went and had some food, and they had this great jazz band playing. This like 3-piece jazz band. And
what was the food? What was the spread like?
There was like some chicken and some broccoli and rice casserole.
So
like
just
stuff,
meat and 2 veg kind of.
And a roll.
It wasn't like lasagna or salmon or anything crazy.
No. It was like there was like some beef or some chicken. You know, it was good.
Okay,
and it was out in the hill country, the Austin Hill country. It was just gorgeous. Yeah, it was cool. It was neat. There were peacocks walking around, and
that's cool.
Yeah,
I went to a couple of my friends got married at the Botanical Gardens, the Zilker Botanical Gardens.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
But the peacocks there are fucking dickweeds,
dude. Peacocks generally are,
and like
assholes.
They, right in the middle of their ceremony, one of them just wanders up directly in front of them, like, "Bam! Look at me!" and starts doing that. Right,
that horrible noise.
Yeah,
these beautiful creatures.
Yeah, I used to take art classes at that same they have a art studio over by the Botanical Gardens where you can go and take art classes for ACC. So I took like my first 2 years of classes for art there, and yeah, those peacocks, they're fucking dickweeds. They just walk up, and they don't give a shit. They're not even scared of people. They're just like, "Fuck you, get out of my way."
Exactly. Peacocks don't give a fuck.
They don't.
Like the honey badger.
But I was actually, that made me think of when you talk about the food, about I went to this one wedding for this guy who was a total asshole I used to work with.
Oh, yeah?
And he had no friends.
Whoa. So did you feel kind of guilty, like you had to go?
Well, he invited me, and I said to my friend Richard, I said, "Are you going?" And he's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Okay, if you go, I'll go, but I ain't going by myself." And I would never take like a date to this, because the guy, he was kind of a piece of shit, and he was marrying this woman who was, not not Scarlett Johansson in the face, but her family had a lot of money. And what he liked to do was buy expensive shit with her family's money.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was kind of a piece of shit.
That is shitty.
He was also really into The Godfather. Like he was super into like the glamorous gangsters of the past.
Oh, God, that's horrible.
Fucking sociopath. Anyway, so I went there, and I remember very specifically that they had the prime rib, right, for the thing.
Nice.
And it was great.
Yeah.
I went through that line like 4th time. I was just like, dude, fuck this. I don't give a shit. Like, your extended family is judging me. I don't give a shit. I don't know any of you people. We're his co-workers. He has no friends.
Yeah.
Like,
you're lucky I'm here at all.
Right. I'm going to drink as many beers as I... Well, actually, that was the only catch, was that I don't know how many weddings you've been to in Austin, but a lot of people in Austin like to have their weddings or their receptions way down 360 in the hill country.
Yep.
Which means that you've got to drive for like 35 minutes kind of outside of Austin to get to this. Just far enough so that like you have to go to South Austin and then drive 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Just far enough so that they're like, "Open bar, bro." And I'm like, it's going to take me 45 minutes to get home.
I can't call a cab out here.
Right, exactly. Like I had one friend who got married in Williamson County.
Oh, shit.
Which is notorious for asshole police officers who will pull you over and arrest you for just whatever the fuck you're doing. And the whole time, the guy got totally blitzed, and he's like, "Do shots with me." I'm like, "Bro, you're in Williams. I'm not."
You're going to jail.
A friend of mine was booked for possession of a controlled substance and a deadly weapon because he had an almost empty bottle of prescription codeine and like a butter knife in his car.
A butter knife?
And the thing is that the Williamson County cops don't give a fuck. They want to get you the fuck off the streets. They will book you. Like, this guy was kind of, he was, okay, this a friend of mine, I don't even know if he's still alive anymore, but he was a little bit of a dirtbag, right? But he's driving around his shit car, and he had, just a sludge of coating cough syrup, and then like a kitchen knife or a butter knife. I mean, like, not like a fucking Rambo First Blood knife or anything. And they fucking handcuffed him and threw him in the slammer for that shit and booked him for possession.
Holy crap!
And so so that was the story.
I think about all the times I carried a fucking machete around in my truck.
Well,
until Allison took it and started keeping it under her pillow or wherever she keeps it.
I'm of the impression that Williamson County is one of those places in Texas where, like, if you're a white male driving a sensible car and you're over 27 years old,
you're fine.
They're probably
You're
not going to
bulletproof.
hassle you, right?
Yeah.
But if you're like a 16-year-old white male, they're going to be like, "You're fucking up to something. Get the fuck off the streets."
And if you're a minority, you're boned, son.
Shit. So every time I go to a wedding and it's out in the middle of nowhere.
That's why Martin never would come up and see me when I lived in Round Rock.
Oh, shit.
In Williamson County.
Dude.
He was just like, yeah, but Williamson County, man. He's like, I don't want to go anywhere and drink because I'm a black man. Right. I'm like, I hear you, man.
There were times where you'd have a party at your house when you lived up there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to go get hammered in Williamson County because I got to drive home. Like, shit.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Did I ever tell you? I've told the story, but it's been a long time. I don't think I've ever told it on Rage Select.
Okay.
Had a Halloween party.
Yeah.
And, like, this was back in the Leog days on Spill.
Uh-huh.
And everybody was there.
Yeah.
And it was a big thing. And the thing, which I didn't understand at the time, the thing with the Leog parties is that Chris would invite just
everybody.
Just people who listen to Leog.
Sure.
Hey, come to this party. I didn't know that.
Like the Halloween parties.
Yeah, well, that's what it was. It was a Halloween party.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. Right.
And this was before I realized. I was like, oh, okay, these people, I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was like this older couple, probably, pushing 50, something like that. Not too old, but, whatever. And this woman, she keeps, God, her name on the site was like Rhea or something like that.
Okay.
And she kept making all these like comments, these increasingly aggressive comments about how her boyfriend, who was with her, didn't care who she fucked,
right,
and all this stuff, and it was just getting weirder and weirder. And at one point, I'm out on the
she
back.
was dropping subtle hints that you weren't picking up, bro.
Yeah. At one point, I'm out on the back patio, and it's like me and Rhea and the guy she brought, and my buddy's girlfriend, and we're out there like having a smoke or something, and there were a couple of other guys out there, and then that woman, she looks around and she says, I'd suck every guy's dick here.
Uh-huh.
She's like, I would suck every dick at this party. Yeah. It was after the party was dying down.
That's a lot of dicks.
And I just look, I'm like wide-eyed, I'm like, what?
Yeah, you get the deer in the headlights.
Yeah, and it's not, she's not someone I would want relations with.
Sure.
Ever.
Yeah.
And in fact, as much as I would like for you to get some stank on your hang low.
Yep.
I would duct tape you and be like, no, extraction. We are leaving, Marines.
You throw the kidnap bag over my head.
Yeah.
And fucking
I would not let that happen to you, man. Or maybe I would. Depends on what mood I would in. Maybe mood I was in.
So you're drinking Lone Star today. You're very gregarious. I think if we were talking to Jason,
yeah, it'd be like, yes, let him fuck the booger wolf.
The what?
The booger wolf.
The booger wolf.
The curb scraper. And so I can laugh about it forever.
I think we got a new comic. It's Booger Wolf and the Crackoon. That's the new
Booger Wolf and the Crackoon.
The new,
But I go in, and my girlfriend at the time is showing our spare bedroom to this swinger couple or whatever,
right?
This polyamorous couple.
Yeah.
She's like, no, you guys should stay here. You don't have to drive anywhere, because she was trying to be a good host.
Right.
She was a
she
very
didn't
nice
know that
person.
they were going to suck dick in that room.
Yeah,
yeah.
And so I'm thinking, she's explaining this to them, and I'm standing behind them, like drawing my hands across my neck, like, no,
let them die, let them die.
Yeah, let them die. And she sees me, and she's like, or not, you guys can go if you want to. And I'm
way
just
to
thinking,
backpedal.
And I'm thinking, no, this was my previous girlfriend.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this wasn't Allison.
Yeah.
Allison would be like, fuck those people. I don't know who they are. They're not staying in my house. But the previous girlfriend, she was, very nice person. She was trying to do the right thing and everything. But these people were probably thinking, Oh, she's trying to set up a little swap.
You would put your keys in the bowl, right?
Yeah, and I'm just like, no. And they left, and I talked about it on Leog, like the next Leog.
Yeah.
And that woman immediately deleted her profile from Spill and just fucking vanished. Yeah.
Shame, Jason.
I don't remember how we got onto that story, but it doesn't matter. Let's do some news.
Yeah, let's do some news. That's as good a segue as any.
Yeah.
Speaking of sucking dick, so let's see. There was the news this week is kind of lightweight, and most of the stuff that I pulled up is kind of jokey. So, but there was this public demo of Star Citizen that they did at PAX. It was 14 minutes long.
Looked pretty sweet.
Okay, I'd say parts of it looked kind of sweet, but nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like
it was. They probably don't have anything ready.
I guess, but the question is, like, if you don't have anything ready, I mean,
this demo was a tech demo.
$41 million, like, show me something, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what state the game is in yet.
Either that or okay,
but it looks good.
It looks very good. But what we were joking about earlier is I don't know if it was Chris Roberts that was driving that demo, but if it was,
he was the shittiest Let's Player ever.
He's not a very good Let's Player.
No,
he needed a ringer to come up and
like
run the controls for him.
Have you even seen this game?
Right. Like, and I was like, how are you so bad at a space combat game, Chris Roberts?
You kind of defined the genre.
Like, if this is him playing, I'm watching him play, and it's like you're just shooting, like you wrote the game, you put your reticle on top of the little, this is where they're going reticle, and then you hit the fire button. If it's not on top of it, then the fire button does nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was hoping for a little bit more looking around. Well, they did show the Newtonian physics model,
which is probably going to suck.
I think that's probably going to make I don't know.
This is not going to be a light space combat game. This is going to be Star Fox.
It looks like you can go either, like you can do it either way. Like it looks like because it looks like while he was flying that you could like hit a button and then do like turn your ship, and let your momentum carry you or whatever. Or that you could just go straight forward and shoot like you would normally. I guess what I wonder about is I don't know if there's ever been a game that's used non-Newtonian physics in a PvP dogfighting setting, but it seems like that could be really interesting because of the way that it works. Also, they showed another mode where you could just strafe your ship up, down, left, right without moving forward at all. Yeah. Which seems like all of that different movement stuff, if you got a real good handle on it, could make for a space game. Because I think back to some of the space games that I've played before, and they're very the combat part of them is not super sophisticated, right? It's kind of just lining up this guy or there's somebody behind you, turn this. I mean, you look at when we did the Patreon video for Strike Suit Zero, and it's like, this is very lightweight. Freelancer's very lightweight. This looks like it's a little bit heavier, and it looks like it would probably reward people who get way into it. So I'd like to see more of... I was hoping to see at least one capital ship in that demo because that's what excites me. I'm a free space fan, man, so I like big capital ships. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. You guys should check out the video. It's 14 minutes long, especially the beginning where they crash into that asteroid. Speaking of crazy new shit that's coming out in the future, they're making, it's called Civilization Beyond Earth, but it might as well be called fucking Alpha Centauri.
Yeah.
As it seems like that's what they're doing. Yeah. They got this
you guys got to check this out, this little trailer
cinematic trailer that's up.
Legumes.
Yeah.
That's where we put our beans.
Let's put the nuts and stuff, right? So anyway, there's a trailer out for it that's cinematic that talks about we've done fucked Earth all to shit, so we're going to go take off and find somewhere else to fuck up. There's a few screenshots in the article I was looking at of the game, and it's very much a hex-based kind of Civ thing. I don't know. Are you a fan of Civ games?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I respect them, but I never could get into it.
There's a couple of things that I wonder. I know that my dad is huge into the Civ series.
Oh, okay.
But I know that he wouldn't play the last Civilization game because they removed the ability for units to stack on the same tile.
Yeah.
And it was just like that really makes this a lot more... It's more accessible, but it eliminates a lot of because he comes from an old paper game strategy thing where you stack up fucking huge amounts of units. And I don't know if they ever changed that or patched it or whatever. What I worry about is that one of the things about Alpha Centauri that I loved so much because I used to play that shit all the time was you could make your own units. So in Alpha Centauri, you would research guy, like suit, right, or car or tank or boat or plane or thing like that.
Yeah.
And he would make a unit by being like, I'm going to start with the car frame, and then for propulsion, I'm going to put wheels, treads, hover will work.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put machine gun, laser, so you could make your own unit, whereas in Civilization...
Very customizable.
Right. In Civilization, you would do, I want to research Roman phalanx or chariot or...
Right.
And you would make that one unit that you research.
Very
So
specific. Yeah.
I hope, and I don't know, it's been a while since I've been back to a Civilization game. I hope that they, if this is the spiritual successor to Alpha Centauri, that they put some of that flexibility back in, because it got me a lot of mileage with that game. But so you can see Jason's screenshots here. I mean, you know, when you actually drill down into it, it looks very much like a Civilization.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe this will be a good way for me to take another stab at these, because it's been a while since I played Civilization. But
Yeah, I'm not into it, but I know it's got a huge following.
look, this is Alien Planet, though, and there's little dudes with fucking spacesuits on.
Yeah, if I want that, I'll play StarCraft. Thank you.
Jeff Crack. All right, well, next up, it's got some serious news to go through.
Uh-oh.
Sony has sold all of its shares of Square Enix.
Yeah.
Now,
the comment from the Sony executives were, yeah, we're sick of this shit.
well, I actually, it's unclear in this article, and maybe somebody else who follows this stuff more closely can tell me in the comments, but it seems like from the article that I'm reading on this on Joystick that it sounds like it's more from financial troubles on Sony's side than it is from them dumping like non-Square Enix stock.
I had seen something about how there was problems.
Yeah, I wasn't really even aware that Sony had that much Square Enix stock.
The sale of its Tokyo offices, several thousand layoffs.
Yep.
And they're selling off the Vio PC business. Well, they should have done that a long time ago.
They
but
should
whatever.
shut down the Vio PC business.
Yeah, there's-
if they could get some poor fucking fool to pay for the Vio name,
Right.
do it, man.
And overhaul its TV arm. Yeah, that sounds drastic.
I mean,
but yeah, they should have gotten rid of the Vio PC thing, 5 years ago.
Sony always seemed like, they always seemed like a company, at least from their TV and their computer business, that didn't, and I'm not a market analyst, but they always seemed to me that in a world where we were getting better quality things at a cheaper and cheaper price, they reminded me a lot of the way that Dell had problems, where Dell used to be able, like, this is a really great computer that you're buying and you're paying for the quality of this computer.
Right.
And then over time, everybody else caught their quality up close enough, but they kept their prices low to the point where, like, if you were going to go out and buy a TV at Best Buy, do you really give a shit about the Bravia name?
No.
You just want something that's kind of inexpensive that doesn't look like shit.
They got
right?
good ratings.
Yeah. Like Samsung has been eating their lunch, phone, TV, it used to be that Sony, like, you wanted quality, you go get a Sony thing, but I feel like the gap has been closed so much in that quality range that, and the Vios, I don't know if you've probably never taken apart a Sony Vio.
No.
But Jesus, they're terrible.
Really?
They're over-engineered to shit on the inside. The first MP3 player I ever bought was a Sony. And it was this little stick, and it required you to convert all of your music into Sony's proprietary format.
Oh God,
to
that
use.
was what was it? AAC? Was that what it was?
It might have been. Well, AAC is what they. I don't think that's what.
No,
it was.
no,
but
no, it wasn't
It was some
AAC.
kind of proprietary Sony format.
I remember. Yeah, it was such a pain in the ass.
And it was like
a lot of their cameras did that too. That they would record. The digital cameras would record to the solid state storage device in a proprietary thing. So you would have to like
export
and go through all these hoops to convert it. Sony's always been a bitch like that.
Yeah, so I bought that, and it was like it was the first MP3 player I ever bought. Now get an MP3 player for like what, $1? Like they cost no money.
They come in like cereal boxes now.
Right. But that was like when they first came out, and I wanted one. I think I shelled out somewhere between like $250 or $350 for it. And I brought it home, and it was this little stick. It looked like a pen, right?
Oh, yeah.
I got it, and I hooked it up, and I tried to start dumping my MP3s from Napster on it, because it was that time. And it told me I had to convert all of them, and I was just like, what? So then I went back to wherever I bought it from, and I picked up a Nomad, the like first-generation Nomad MP3 players. Shit lasted me for like 10 years. It was fine. It was great. So I don't know. This is, there was another story that the PlayStation 4 is selling real well. There's reportedly like 7 million of them out there or something like that.
Yeah.
But Sony as a whole, I don't know.
But still, I mean, they're probably selling the PS4s at close to a loss, right?
I never got any real hard data for that, but I think that because they're using kind of off-the-shelf PC stuff,
Okay.
I think they're at least breaking even on
Okay,
it.
well, that's good.
I don't know, though. I could be wrong. You guys, if you guys know differently, please post in the comments and provide a link, for God's sake, and don't just say, no, that's wrong. All right, next up, this was a one that was important to a lot of people, but not really to me.
Yeah. I saw this. It doesn't really...
Yeah. Martin O'Donnell, is that what his name was? Yeah, Marty O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Composer over at Bungie for Halo and Destiny was let go. And there seems to be some kind of like weird intrigue where, it doesn't seem like it was a super... Like, he probably put his balls on somebody's desk, and then they told him, "You get the fuck... Marty, this is the last time. Get the fuck out of here. I told you."
He claims that he was fired without cause.
Right.
And then the message from Bungie is like, we part as friends. He contributed greatly,
Right.
everything. But he's saying, fuck those guys.
I think that it's funny that there's another part of this article where they said that, like, he did finish all the music for Destiny first before they got rid of him. I mean, I think a lot of people have, there were people in the comments on the website who were talking about how they have great love for the soundtrack to Halo and they bought the soundtrack. All I can think of for the soundtrack to Halo is that,
Yeah, I don't remember a single note, so whatever.
But I'm
sure it was great, but I never noticed that kind of thing.
It's I feel like there's a case to be made. We had talked about this on a question, right? There's a case to be made that if you're doing your music right, it should just blend into the background and add to the series rather than standing out. Unless it's like sometimes when you have actual, like in GTA where you have an actual song on the soundtrack.
Right.
But like orchestral stuff, I find it that more,
I'm usually just completely oblivious to game soundtracks myself.
Yeah. All right, well, I tell you what, we're out of the serious news, and we're going to go into the fucking bananas news.
Okay.
All right. Did you watch this video, Jason?
What?
Okay.
I'm reading the headline, but
okay,
what?
so I'm gonna try to make sure this can't come through the speaker so that Jason can hear this.
It's got to be a joke.
Is in Call of Duty Ghosts, they've added a package in where all of the announcer stuff in multiplayer is Snoop Dogg.
What?
Like all of the stuff that it says over the voice comms, you can download this Snoop Dogg pack where all the stuff that it says is voiced by Snoop Dogg.
What? I don't.
Okay, you now know. You now know what it is.
I don't even.
How do you respond, Jason?
And they call it the Blunt Force personalization pack.
Yep.
Get it? Blunt.
Yeah.
No.
Weed jokes.
Oh God! Really? Really?
Apparently,
This is.
I mean, we skipped over the one last month where they added Predator into one of the modes, but this is ridiculous.
And it looks like they've got one with Arlie Ermy.
Okay.
Going to be in that. That makes sense, at least.
That makes more sense,
Yeah.
right? Than
Snoop Dogg.
I have nothing against Snoop.
Yeah, whatever.
Actually, wait a minute. I thought it was Snoop Lion now. Did he change it back?
Right. Wasn't it Snoop Lion?
I thought it was Snoop Lion.
I can't keep track.
Okay. He's Snoop Ocelot now.
Snoop Lemur.
I guess, like, do you... okay, so let's just say that you yourself... Let's say in Battlefield 4 that there was the same kind of stuff. Like the Unreal announcer, right? You're just like, multi-kill.
Okay, maybe.
Kill. Okay,
maybe
so,
if you were the Unreal announcer.
well, who would you want?
Who would I want?
Yeah. Who would you put in there?
Man, I don't know. I think the Unreal announcer is actually a pretty damn good one.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman. That might be interesting. Who's got a good voice out there?
Morgan Freeman would be pretty cool, but I think I would be lulled into like the dulcet tones of Mr. Freeman. Yes,
super kill.
Yeah,
killing spree.
Well, I don't know. What about you? What would you want?
I don't even know. I was trying to think of an answer to that question. I was H. John Benjamin. Obviously,
H. John Benjamin.
H. John Benjamin.
Okay, that'd be pretty cool. People are probably going to like this. I don't get it, but hey,
there's a. I tell you what, Jason. There's a whole kind of like Call of Duty subculture that I don't understand.
I know. It's just huge, too.
Like customizing your tag and stuff like this and the different modes that they've added in where I just don't it doesn't really do anything for me.
It's its own little cottage industry.
Or okay, but let me ask you this. You're going to buy Snoop Dogg the blunt force pack of Snoop Dogg saying all the stuff in your Call of Duty multiplayer. What is there?
Use your words.
Okay. Doesn't it just seem like if a person was doing that they're kind of a douche? Like, I'm trying to think of anybody that I know who would be really into doing that.
Jeff and I are available to do that.
Yeah, we'll totally do that.
Yeah. We'll be douches.
Sure, man.
Whatever.
I'll take 30 cents of the $1.99 that they're charging.
Yeah, bring it.
And what we could do is we could just insult the player the entire time.
Yes.
Be like, are you high? Are you high? Does your mom know what you're doing right now?
Right.
You made excellent life
decisions. Then we can
decisions.
just start talking about random shit.
That's right.
In fact, just take one of our podcasts and just put it in there.
The more kills you get, the more random are. It's like you get 30
Sex
kills.
Judd.
You get 30 kills in a row, and it's just like comes on. So what's your favorite Gene Hackman movie, Jason?
Yes.
You're like, why did I pay $2 for this? Who are these assholes?
When you shoot someone, ding dong.
Ding dong. Ding dong. What does that even mean? Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if he rapped everything. Maybe if, like, every time you did it. Like, what if there was just, like, if it put a beat over your entire multiplayer match and then it would just rap in the different things that he said? Oh, no, I know who I want.
Flava Flav.
Cool Keith.
Cool Keith.
I want Cool Keith to do all my voice stuff. I don't want him to say whatever the fuck he wants to. I think we're random. All right. Once again, very, very light news week this week. Our next story, but this is an exciting story, is that Arc System Works, you know who they are, right? The guys who do Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear, I believe.
Okay.
And Persona Arena. We played that, remember?
Yes.
They're teasing a new Blood Rain game.
Like a Blood Rain fighting game?
No, I don't know. Like it's called BRCS, and it's got Blood Rain and her little thing and her blades in this teaser image. And the last, then this article notes the last Blood Rain game was called Blood Rain Betrayal. It was on the PlayStation Play, their answer to the Summer of Arcade thing.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Oh, really?
Well, I didn't like it. It was a Metroidvania game, but not really.
I'm still bitter about Blood Rain because Blood Rain was supposed to be a sequel to Nocturne.
Oh.
Way back.
Yeah.
Way back. Because I remember seeing, like...
Are you still upset?
I'm still upset. Yeah, I remember seeing
Jason.
teaser videos of Nocturne 2.
Right.
And it was Svetlana, the character, the vampire chick that worked for the Spook House in the first Nocturne.
Oh, okay.
And they just stripped all of the Nocturne references away and turned her into Blood Rain and then just made kind of a generic game out of it.
Did you play Blood Rain?
No.
Blood Rain's fantastic.
Really?
In a really cheesy way. Because she's killing Nazis, right?
Yeah.
So there's I remember when I fell in love with Blood Rain was the move where you sneak up behind a Nazi and you jump up on him and you wrap your legs around his waist and you have two guns out to the side and you're sucking his blood and turning him around and shooting people at the same time. It was Nazi killing. And she's got these giant blades where she's just ripping. I mean, the first time I played the demo for it, I was just like, this game is awesome. It's so bloody. All these Nazis are dying, and the main character is this hot vampire lady. This is bad. I never played 2 or 3 or whatever.
Or watched the movies.
I watched one of the movies.
Oh. Uwe Boll.
Yeah. I've seen 2 Uwe Boll movies. One was Blood Rain, and one was Dungeon Siege in the Name of the King.
Yeah. I saw Dungeon Siege, and...
Dungeon Siege is so bad.
Oh, what was
Fucking
it?
Burt
Postal,
Reynolds?
Maybe? I don't know.
Oh, with... is that David Spade?
Was it Postal? I don't know if it was Postal.
Where he literally rolls the woman in flour and looks for the wet spot?
No, it wasn't Postal.
That's
then.
Postal.
Yeah.
Alone in the Dark?
It was
with Christian Slater?
Rampage? What was it called?
Oh, okay. Not a video game movie.
It wasn't a video game movie?
Rampage, the one with the guy on the front with the mask and a gun or whatever?
Yeah.
I think that's not a...
Oh, I didn't... Yeah. Okay.
It was Alone in the Dark, Far Cry, Blood Rain.
Alone in the Dark was a Uwe Boll movie?
Yeah, the Christian Slater.
Really?
I think so.
I saw that. That was shitty.
Of course. It was Uwe Boll. Dark,
Yeah.
Let's see. Film.
Yeah,
Alone in the Dark.
not the 82 one. The 82 one's actually good.
5. Uwe Boll. Boom,
Uwe
boom.
Boll. There you go. Yeah.
Christian Slater and Tara Reid.
That movie is a cancer.
You know, should we tell
In the Name
people,
of the King is so gloriously bad, though.
Okay, here's a question for you. Which one is worse? In the Name of the King or the Dungeons and Dragons movie with Jeremy Irons?
Oh.
Because those are both
Dungeons and Dragons
movies.
is worse.
Yeah.
Because at least in the Name of the King, you get to see Burt Reynolds as a king.
Dude,
completely miscast.
I enjoy watching traditional thespian Jeremy Irons just like eat the scenery for 2 hours. Like this is the flamboyant. Oh wait, wasn't Ray Liotta in the Name of the King?
Yes, he was the evil wizard.
Oh man, I need to go back and watch that.
So shitty.
They also made House of the Dead. Was another Uwe Boll.
That
one.
was, I think, that was one of his first.
Yeah,
I didn't watch that.
Do you guys?
They spliced.
Should we tell them
shots of the game into the movie?
Yeah, it was fucking awful. Should we tell? Do people know? Is common knowledge of why he got to do all this shit?
Oh,
do you know? You know,
yeah,
right?
It's German film incentives,
right? Yeah,
and he knew how to work it.
It could make no money, and he'd still get paid with the tax subsidies or whatever. Yeah. It was fucking awful. That dude, and the fact that dude was then like, I'll beat up any critic who, and it's like, that's not how criticism works, asshole.
Right?
Like just because you win a playground fight doesn't mean your movies don't suck nut anymore. What is he even doing now? Has he hung himself yet?
No, he's still making stuff.
He looks like an enforcer for like a fucking East German mob or something. All right, films, Blood Rain.
Upcoming projects.
Upcoming Italian zombie film Eaters is presented by Uwe Boll.
He's also producing Zombie Massacre based on the Amiga video game by 1988 game. Okay.
What the fucking who plays Amiga? Oh well. Okay. I'm sorry, guy on the website who played Amiga games. I'm sorry, I didn't.
He recently announced a sequel to Postal.
Oh, good.
Based on achieving $500,000 from a Kickstarter.
500 motherfucker made $500,000 on Kickstarter. How?
Stop giving him money.
We need to make a Kickstarter for, I don't know.
I don't even.
You need to make a Kickstarter for, I'm going to give Jeff's a box of spiders.
Yes.
If Uwe Boll can make $500,000 for Postal 2,
Moving on.
Anyway, I think that Arc System Works. I mean, if you like fighting games, I think the games they've made are really good. They also made Hardcore Uprising, that kind of Contra-ish sequel a few years ago. I think they could do a good job with the game. I look forward to seeing whatever they're going to put out. Plus, I think Blood Rain's a kind of cool property. And last but certainly not least, in a very weird thing, ZeniMax filed a trademark for Nuka-Cola.
Okay.
Which part of me goes, wait, you guys, I think that we should all own Nuka. I don't think anybody should have the rights to Nuka-Cola because it's kind of
from
weird game zeitgeist. Well, yeah, but if I wanted to make like a Nuka-Cola lunchbox and sell it on Etsy, I don't think that ZeniMax should be up my ass about that.
Why not? It's theirs.
It's not. Well, it's kind of theirs.
It's theirs.
Well, then why are they filing trademarks for it? Doesn't it
to make sure that people don't make money and making a Nuka-Cola lunchbox and putting it up on fucking Etsy? That's why. It's
What's
their property.
Wrong with people making that money on Etsy?
Because that's money that they should be making.
Well, if they're not making the lunchboxes, it's fucking Jane hats all over again. Anyway, I pulled this story up because it's. I don't really have that much ire towards ZeniMax. I'm just like, would you guys just fucking put your dicks down and announce
say you're making Fallout 4
already? Like, I know that shit's going to be at E3. One of the biggest things about E3 this year is I know that shit at the Bethesda booth tour is going to be there. They got Elder Scrolls out. They got nothing else coming. Like,
I'm thinking of going just to spite you.
What, buying a ticket out of your own pocket?
Yeah.
And going?
And not telling you anything about it.
You don't have to. Like, the whole show is made to feed information to the internet. You're not going to find anything out that I don't already know.
But I'm going to get to play stuff
Uh-huh.
and see stuff, get hands-on.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
And maybe just mention it to you, but I'm not going to. Yeah. I'm going to try to make this as painful as possible.
Okay, well then I'll just take the money I was going to pay you and buy hookers. Hookers and blow. Like, have fun at E3. I'm going to spend $2,000 on hookers and blow. All right. Well, you know what? Like I said, it was a real slow news week. Not a hell of a lot out there. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we've got a bunch of questions from y'all that we are going to answer. So stick around. All right, everybody, and we are back. And Jason and I just got done talking all our Game of Thrones spoilers that we can't say on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you, it seems like last week was a real, flashpoint for spoiler discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Between Winter Soldier and Game of Thrones.
It's like reaching
a
fever pitch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I finally found my official position on
what
the
is
matter.
It?
Can you not just fucking keep your mouth shut?
Right.
That's what it is.
Some people are taking this thing like, well, if you get spoiled, it's your fault. No, fuck you.
You just fucking keep your mouth. Or like somebody, I was talking with somebody about it, and they said to me like, well, if you don't like spoilers, you should just, maybe stay off social media for a few days. I'm like, I use social media to run like friends' birthdays, what's going on with my family. Like I have a social, that's where my social shit goes down.
Right.
And having to stay off of it just because, in the words of the, well, no, I won't even say that. Just because people can't fucking, they just have to go out there and start screaming stuff immediately.
Running their damn mouth.
And here's the thing to reiterate just for the last fucking time that I've said before. Look, you can't take a spoiler back.
Right.
Once you've done that and somebody gets that information spoiled from them, all the joy that you had when you saw that thing for the first time and were excited by it, they don't get that anymore. Well, some of them don't. Some people don't care, and that's fine. I appreciate
Spoilers
that.
are like AIDS, man. You can't get rid of it. All you can do is give it to other people.
I mean, if they had that Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind bullshit, I could just, I would go back there like once a week and be like, erase Game of Thrones. Erase Game of Thrones. I want to watch it again. I want to watch it again. I'd be like, oh, Ned Stark. All right, well, let's get on with the questions. First one comes in from my friend Josh. Josh says, hey, guys, just got on the Rage Select Patreon train, and I'm enjoying the hours I'm spending viewing the backlog of Patreon videos. Well, thank you.
Awesome. Welcome.
So
Thank you.
my question is non-game related. I recently had to spend some time with my family. Arg!
Sorry.
I come from a long line of negative, judgmental narcissists.
Sure.
Some of it is personality, but a lot of it comes from right-wing Christian fundamentalist beliefs.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know if you guys also have some nut jobs in your immediate family. How do you deal with it? Any suggestions for a blue state liberal would be great. Maybe some breathing exercises or that stress ball Wall Street managers use. Love the show. You should do is that thing that McConaughey did in The Wolf of Wall Street where he started pounding us. Yeah, just
yeah. Well, here's the thing, Josh. They may be saying the same thing about you right now. What you have to realize is that assholes come in every color.
Yeah.
And it's not just right-wing Christian fundamentalists. It's also blue state liberals that can be assholes. Whatever your beliefs are, as long as it's not hurting other people, then hold on to your beliefs. Your beliefs are fine. As long as you don't, and don't persecute other people for their beliefs.
Yeah.
Don't be like me.
Do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah. But as far as like having nut jobs in your immediate family, I do. I'm not going to talk about it specifically because we could get back to them, you know, and I don't need that shit, man. I've already had enough fights with a couple of people in my family, but yeah, I got some jackasses. I just ignore them, and then whenever they talk to me, I just kind of smile and nod, and then I go bitch to Allison about it. I'm like, you know what that fucking moron said.
You know the thing that I talk about an awful lot with people in regards to this is the thing that I always try to remember when somebody's coming at me with, some bullshit, right, is this kind of goes up to a point, but a lot of times just the base, like I'm not really especially religious, and a lot of people who are religious, I'm like, most people, people don't think they're bad people. People don't wake up in the morning and twirl their mustache and go, "Mwahaha, I'm going to ruin your life," right? They generally think that what they're doing is right.
Yeah.
The same way that you think that what you're doing is right, because most people don't get up and try to do the wrong thing. They aren't fucking Cobra Commander.
And people love to argue or hate to argue, but feel compelled to argue about politics and religion.
Yep.
Just don't even, just ignore it. Just like,
remember,
okay, well, whatever. Hey, let's talk about TV or something.
I'll tell you what, as much as I've talked in the past about you can't change people's minds on the internet, when you get into a politics or religion discussion, the chance that you will actually have any kind of impact on the thinking of the person you are talking to are like
infinitesimally
they're
low.
so small.
Yeah.
These people, I mean, they've thought this stuff out, and they're not really there to brook any kind of real challenge towards their identity.
Shrug it off, man. That's it's a fight you can't win. And even if you do win, you lose.
Yeah.
Especially with your family.
I mean, and also, have you ever engaged with somebody over this sort of thing and actually won? Sometimes it's not like if you do quote unquote win the argument, you've just kind of like crushed a little part of that person, like what they believe in,
which is awesome.
It depends, but it's
also terrible. So it'll feel good then, and later you'll savor it. But another part of you is like, oh man, that just made things more complicated.
I would say, as far as like exercises, I think that any excuse to disengage and get away from the environment for a time, go on a walk. I find that smoking is a wonderful tool to get away from people you don't want to talk to. I'm gonna go outside
fake a phone call, you know?
And then just go chill, because 9 times out of 10, if you're in that kind of environment and you feel yourself getting to a point where you're going to say or do something, you just need to cool down. You need to get away from it.
And most like antagonistic family discussions can be diffused or won if you start off whatever you say with, listen, cunt. Okay, so speaking of, I'm going to tell a story that I probably shouldn't tell, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of, listen, cunt.
Years ago, my brother was he was married to this girl, and she was always poking at me for some reason,
on Facebook.
Just poking not on Facebook. Oh. Just like, poking the bear. And we were always just kind of just like little snipes here and there. And I didn't really know her very well at the time. And this was a long time ago. It was like 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I was like talking trash about Michael Jackson.
Okay.
And she was like, I was listening to the new Michael Jackson. I was like, oh, on purpose? Or did you lose a bet? I was making fun of Michael Jackson.
General assholishness, yes.
Yeah, and we were just laughing, and everybody's like, oh, you're so mean, blah, 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 blah. And, and when I walked into the house, this was on Thanksgiving. When I walked into the house, first thing she said, before the Michael Jackson comment, she was like, oh my God, Jason, are you going bald?
Yeah.
And at that time, I was worried that I was. And I don't think I am.
No.
But now I'm not. I don't care. I'm like, whatever.
Right.
I'm not. I don't think. But anyway, I was like, so I was a little on edge, but I was just like, all right, whatever, And when she said that, my brother like kind of put his arm around her, like, okay, let's not do that. and I was saying that and. Saying that about Michael Jackson, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, we're just poking at each other.
Yeah.
And she was a large girl, very large girl. And my brothers and I, we were all kind of standing around, and my mom looks at one of my brothers and says, "Wow, are you the tallest?" And she just looks at me and she says, "No, but he's the one with the most hair." Like trying to get at me, And I was like, hey, I may be going bald, but if I go bald, I'll just put on a hat. If you put on a hat, you'll still be a fat chick wearing a hat. And my other brother goes, oh, shit, I warned her. I told her not to start shit with you. And she just like starts crying and leaves the room.
Yeah.
And Cody's like, I told her. He's like, she's like, she didn't know. I tried to warn her that she doesn't need to fuck with you, but she did, and that's what she gets. And he's like, that's what you get, Tatanka. And he's like yelling at her.
I can't give you that much advice because in my family we're allowed to talk about whatever.
Shrug it off, change the topic, ignore them, go have a cigarette, go check your phone.
Buy a 3DS.
Go listen. Yeah, buy a 3DS. Damn right.
And then as soon as
it's a lifesaver, man.
Make it a trigger where the moment that anybody brings up the politics, you just whip that thing out and start playing Bravely Default.
You just or you can just be like me and just be like, oh yeah, Jason's the crazy member of the family.
Yeah,
who will? It's like, I don't know. My family was talking about something this last Christmas, and so my niece, she was like 12, and I was like, I'll give you $5 if you take this slice of ham and just rub it all over your face. And everyone just looks at me like, what? And she looks at me like, creepy. And Alice is like, yeah, see, now you're the creepy uncle. But guess what? All of those obnoxious topics that were coming up, gone.
Done.
Yeah, it was over.
I like the thought of the fact that you're creepy Uncle Jason.
Me too. They tried to say that like it was some sort of warning, like, Jason, don't be the creepy uncle. I was like, oh shit, I could be the creepy uncle. That's awesome.
And we're talking like not kid touching creepy uncle.
Oh, right.
We're talking about the old school, like.
Have you ever read the Necronomicon?
Fucking Uncle Jason came over. He brought us fireworks.
Yeah.
Like, with the
Jason smashed my Etch-a-Sketch, and then we made thermite.
That's right. Like the uncle that it's your mother's brother.
Yeah.
That comes over.
Yeah.
And always makes trouble.
Oh my God, that reminds me. Her birthday's coming up. I need to get her a copy of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
There you go.
I watched it when I was her age.
Hey, you kids ever burn ants with a magnifying glass?
Yeah.
Come on,
magnifying glass, that's too slow. Napalm. Bathtub. Oh, my God, bathtub napalm's so easy to make. I'm going to teach them how to do it.
Oh. You're going to teach your nieces and nephews how to do bug fights?
Oh, bug fights. Yes! Man, why have I not passed this on to anyone?
Okay, all right. Next question comes in from Autobot5. Autobot5 says, hello, Jeff and Jason. I've been a long-time listener since the unspeakable times. I recently rewatched Fight Club and got me thinking about my role in this lost generation. How did Fight Club affect you guys? And if you could fight any historical figure, who would it be? Which historical figure do you think that you could win against? P.S. Love the site. Thank you for giving all of us hours of entertainment. Best wishes, Autobot5.
Oh, okay.
So we got a few questions in there. How did Fight Club affect you guys?
Right after I saw Fight Club the first time.
Yeah.
And that's a good one because I think that's a very effective, important film.
Sure.
One of the best films in the last 20 years. I nearly got into a fight at the supermarket.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Were you spraying the guy with your hose?
No, I went in to get like some shampoo, like right after I saw the movie, and I hadn't set it down on the little thing where it pulls up your groceries towards the checker. I hadn't done that.
Yeah,
I was just holding it and I was about to hand it to them.
Yeah.
Well, somebody puts all of their groceries up, and the checker starts to like ring them up, and I'm like, wait, and they're like, oh well, you didn't put anything down, and then I just swiped my arm across all of their stuff, just moved it all aside, and like knocked some of it off into the aisle, and then I put my shampoo down. I was like, there, and they just looked at me like, We're really sorry.
So, okay.
It was awesome. And also, I was like, and when I left, I was like, yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, that was a dick thing to do. Why did I do that?
So did you ever do Fight Club?
No.
My friend and I.
Stupid.
We decided to go out in the backyard. And
did you really?
Yeah. But it was a problem. I was bigger and actually more out of shape then. I'm in better shape now than I was when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Just nothing but Taco Cabana and sitting in front of the computer for hours on end. So we went out in the backyard to took our shirts off and was like, we're gonna fucking punch each other and shit, right?
Oh God, what I wouldn't give to see this.
But the thing was that we decided not in the face.
Not the
right?
face.
So the friend that I was fighting was this real wiry guy, and I was, bigger than him, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is that
you got to get in close.
You try, but he's wiry, slippery little fucking son of a bitch. Especially summer in Texas, you're out in the backyard,
just greasy.
Yeah,
yeah.
So he hammered my kidneys pretty hard, and it kind of sucked because the thing is that I'm pretty sure that I could have taken a punch to the face better than he could. So, like, if it had come down to it, because he would dance in and hit me and then dance away.
Yeah.
But the thing is that if I could have landed one really good punch in his face,
it would have been over.
It probably would have been over.
Yeah.
Also, we were kind of playing around a little bit, and it wasn't really like I didn't have like the murder bloodlust. It wasn't like Fight Club where just fuck somebody the fuck up. So we did that one time, and then my kidneys hurt for like 4 days. And I was like, I don't really want to.
And you were exhausted because fighting is exhausting.
It is exhausting.
You take like a couple of swings, and you're like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah, pretty much.
So if you could find any historical figure, who would it be?
Oh God, I'm going over that in my brain.
Nancy Pelosi. No,
Hitler.
no.
Hitler's a good one.
Kanye.
I bet you could. Kanye West is not a fucking historical figure.
He thinks he is, and I'm willing to give him that if it lets me punch him in the face. I would beat Kanye's ass.
I do like the
Maybe Chris Brown as well. I'm not sure. Kanye or Chris Brown or Nancy Pelosi. One of those three.
Nancy Pelosi.
I hate that bitch.
I wouldn't mind getting in a fist fight with old W at his prime.
Oh yeah,
you know, at like when he was like the day that he was elected, right?
Okay,
not before the whole 8 years. Like,
yeah, sure,
it makes presidents into old people, right? You know,
sure,
now
yeah,
they're just old people.
Yeah,
but
it just
like when
breaks them.
He was just elected. I kind of like to just punch the fucking shit out of that motherfucker. I don't know. But you know, you go to anybody in history, like. Dude, I'd
give me the congressman of your choice, and I will punch them right in the face.
Just any of them.
Yeah,
throughout all of history, Democrat, Republican, fucking
from like 1980 on.
Yeah,
any congressman.
I gotta tell you that in you say historical figure, and in years past, like I think it'd be really fun to have a fist fight with George Washington. I think that'd be like
he would beat your ass,
even
dude.
if you got your ass beat. I mean, we're not talking about to death, right? We're just talking about a fight, right?
Yeah.
Even if you got your ass beat, it would still be.
I got my ass kicked by George Washington.
George Washington,
yeah,
exactly.
That's a good one.
But I find that if it comes down to like who you hate, like I might even use that ticket to punch Michelle Bachmann right in her fucking face, or Sarah Palin. And I'm not one for hitting women, but like, god damn, every time the mouth open, I'm just. And was there another one there?
No, that's it.
Which historical figure do you think you can win against?
Oh, I don't know. I think I could take Kanye.
I'd like to fight Joan of Arc.
Chris Brown, maybe not.
Chris Brown,
Kanye, yeah. Nancy Pelosi, definitely.
Mr. T.
Joan of Arc could kick your ass, dude.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Fist fight.
Fist fight.
Think so?
I think so.
She
bitch ain't scared.
I know she's not scared, but does she have the upper body strength? That's my question.
Think about her coming at you like a banshee,
right?
Flailing like that,
right?
Suddenly, I think your resolve is just going to evaporate, and you're just going to be like,
"Hey,
oh man, I got some crazy French bitch coming at me."
Jason, you taught me cunt punch.
Well, that's true.
I'm just saying.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
She's all Middle Ages and shit. She didn't know. She's got a sense of honor or whatever.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't know that.
Bam.
Yeah.
You know, and then like.
That's good. You go for the vag.
Yeah.
But somebody from the Middle Ages is not expecting that.
If you're going to fight a historical figure, do you really like, you know, like, I want to fight George Washington, then I want to kick him in the nuts, and then the fight is over, right? Like,
yeah.
You know who I would like to, like Caesar? I'd like to kick Caesar right in the balls. And just be like, yeah, what's up? All right.
To Jeff.
Our next one comes in from Jacob. Jacob says, or Jacob, I'm going to say Jacob. Jacob says, Dear Jeff and Jason, I was reading Jonathan Hickman's run on the Avengers, and I got to wondering, every Marvel book Hickman writes these days seems to be about the end of everything, to the point that the apocalypse becomes mundane. What is your opinion on storytellers dipping into the trope often just to make their stories seem more important? Is it keeping audiences on their toes, or is it just padding when you know they aren't going to end the world because the comic/movie/game franchise would be over and that's not going to happen? Thanks for reading this and ushering in the Ragnarok.
Yes.
Jacob. You're more qualified to answer the Hickman stuff.
I agree. I'm not a fan of Hickman. I actually quit reading Avengers when he started writing it because he wasn't doing any characterization. It was all plot, and it was all big cosmic bullshit comic book science plot. You know, like universes colliding and everything. And it's always like that with him. And I don't think he has any respect for the nuances and for the little things that I really enjoy, the characterizations and everything, the interactions. I mean, I read the first several issues of his run on Avengers, and it was completely devoid of characterization. I don't even think a lot of the characters spoke to each other for a lot of it. So yeah, it's. You can't just shoot your wad like that. It can't always be, and I realize that the Avengers need big threats.
Yeah,
but that I don't even know if that's necessarily the case. I want to backtrack on that because I think you can give them small threats on the individual level. If you're a good writer, you know how to get under the skin of these characters without saying, "Oh, Jupiter's going to crash into Earth" or whatever.
Right.
And a lot of what Hickman has done so far is he's got a lot of world-ending stuff. Some of it's interesting, some of it's well done, but overall, it's real. It really just gets kind of boring, and some of it is him like one of the things he's doing right now. Seems to me, it's like, wow, they did this in House of M just a few years ago. You know, and it was just very repetitive. So yeah, it's, you know, get something new. Save your big stories for a big story. If you keep throwing that at us, everyone's going to get inured to it.
I disagree.
Okay.
Because there are 2 books that I have read that focus on pretty much every story arc being an apocalypse story arc, but they do it well. And I'm talking about Grant Morrison's run on JLA and The Authority, where you had these 2 teams that were conceived as these are not the people who are getting street crime under control or keeping Star City safe. This is for cosmic stuff. Yeah. So what I think works in those runs is that they're not expecting you. Like, a lot of times in the JLA, when they come to the end of their storyline, it'll be like, we're the fucking JLA. We save the world. We only get involved when it's the world that's in jeopardy, you know? So I think that a lot of it just comes down to the fact that if you're not banking, as long as the threat that you have is creative, I feel like the stakes a lot of times don't really matter, right? Because, okay, so let's say fucking Starman, right?
Yeah.
All Starman, the whole book of Starman was focused almost exclusively on threats to one city in the DC universe, to Opal City.
Right.
And Starman, Jack Knight being the protector of Opal City. Was nothing to say that those comics were any more or less dramatic than the JLA comics, because they both had stakes and they both had villains.
That's the playground they're playing in.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can see that.
And for the JLA run, like, I feel like or even the Starman run, where you can point to that, you can say that, like, there is a series. You do need to have a series of, like, escalations. You do have to be willing to change the playing field from time to time. Like in Starman, they just go to space for like 10 issues or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's different people there. Introduce new characters, kill some characters off, and that kind of stuff. If it's just the exact same plot over and over again, that's one thing. But if you have an evolving plot, like in the whole Grant Morrison run on JLA that led up to the World War III story arc, where they brought in Prometheus, and then, you know, just stuff happening, and there were bits and pieces in each story which then tied together into their big final arc, I feel like it can totally work. It's just if you use it as a crutch. If you're saying the universe is in jeopardy.
Well, I feel like that's all Hickman is doing.
I've never read him, so I couldn't say. But.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I even tried to go back and read more.
Yeah,
and I couldn't get into it.
I get, it's kind of like you can.
He's not that bad. He's got his moments, but
you could hook it into video games too, right? The world is always in danger.
Oh yeah, right.
The world's always in danger, but it's not the fact that the world is in danger. It is how is the world in danger, and what is the story that leads up to that. That's important.
Yeah. No, you're right.
All right, our next one comes in from Long. And Long says, "Hey, Jeff and Jason, I just read that Ubisoft handed out free Nexus 7 tablets to journalists at a Watchdog preview event in Paris. I was wondering, what's your opinion on gifts like these and its effect on journalistic integrity? Even if the purpose of handing out free tablets was to demonstrate the second screen capabilities of the game, I find it hard to believe that any tech/game journalist in the audience doesn't own one already. I don't. They say everyone has a price, so what's yours? How much would it cost to whore yourself out to the man? Keep it fucking classy, Long."
Oh, that's a really tricky question, because I've never had the opportunity to whore myself out.
Let me give you a scenario.
Okay.
You just got done playing Aliens Colonial Marines.
Yeah.
They have, and Sega just sent you a brand new iPad and $500. What do you rate that game?
Are they going to take it back if I rate it poorly? No. Then I rate it poorly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that some journalists say you should never even accept anything like that. Others, I'm more of the mind of you can accept it as long as it doesn't affect you.
Right.
Yeah. And I know that's asking a lot.
It is.
From someone. It really is. But we've never really been in that position to where we could be bought.
The only time that we ever were was we've gotten sent free copies of games. That's not. I mean, that falls into another question. It's like there are some people out there who believe that if you're a journalist, you should pay for every game that you review.
Right.
You should not get sent a free copy to review.
There are also journalists who feel like they should not pay for anything.
Correct. And yeah. Because
which I think is an entitled piece of shit way of going about it.
I think that I think there's some merit in that, in just when you look at, like, it depends, right? If you're a staff writer for IGN should foot the bill for your
absolutely.
games.
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, like, we spend a significant amount of money every month on buying games,
right? Because
we don't get sent them,
right?
You say that's money that we could be spending on production or just other stuff. I could be paying people with that money.
Some whores,
coke,
Coke, lots of coke.
But I think one of the only times that we've ever gotten anything that would maybe even be considered a bribe was when we were sent the package for GTA 5 that had the game, and it had a keychain and some stickers,
it had all sorts of swag in there,
But as I've said this before, I think that the problem with all this is that there's two problems. Is that if you give Aliens Colonial Marines a 5 out of 5, people know now that you have no credibility left.
Yeah.
You might as well just say it better be worth it, because you're probably going to retire after this.
Yeah. Well, there are some people that are clearly bought. And I actually follow movie journalism and criticism, film criticism, closer than I do game criticism.
Yeah.
And you see that all the time. And then you see people who maintain their integrity, and a lot of them say, you know what, like my friend is reviewing this. This is a little bit different, but my friend made this movie. I'm friends with this filmmaker.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not gonna review it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen in the gaming world too.
Yeah. Which I think is a reasonable stance to take.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I didn't even know when we looked at the Banner Saga until afterwards that we even knew anybody that messed around with that.
Oh, yeah.
I think that the problem mostly probably comes in the fact of, like, are you giving it a 5 or a 7? That's a much more gray area to get into. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard just to rate a thing.
Yeah.
It's a real challenge sometimes. I don't know if we don't. Nobody's ever offered us any money, so I couldn't.
Yeah, I know.
What's your price? And I'm just
it's like that Mighty Mighty Boss Tones lyric. I'm not a coward, but I've never been tested.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know. I mean, if somebody came to you and they wanted you to honestly be dishonest about something, I don't know about you, Jason, but I'm a relatively honest person.
Yeah.
I don't think I could. I don't think that I would want to put a review with my name on my website.
As a critic, your integrity is all you have.
Pretty much. I also got my dog. I guess, but, he doesn't care. He doesn't care if I get sold out piece of shit.
Well, no, nobody. But nobody in your line of work is going to care about your dog.
Well, this is true. But see, you know what? The other thing that nobody mentions when they have this argument is that it is a real established thing that if EA sends you, or if you get a copy of Battlefield 4, and you shit all over it, if you just straight up shit all over it,
you won't get a copy of anything ever again.
You're probably not going to get another copy from them, or you're going to be way down on the list.
Yeah.
You have to have, like, if you have to be like one of the top 5 gaming news outlets in the world to be able to shit all over something and not have that publisher. And in a way, you can understand.
But
that,
if we
right?
were on that list, and if EA was sending us stuff, and we shot all over a game, or if it became clear that if we gave this game negative reviews, that we would never get another free copy again, my response would be like, really? Fuck you.
Yeah, me too.
I don't care.
Yeah, but it's a rough world. I mean, that's something you have to take into consideration.
Well, and then there was part of it that he finds it hard to believe that any tech/game journalist in the audience doesn't own one already. Journalists don't make much, man.
No, they don't.
I know a lot of. I don't know a lot of game journalists, but I imagine film journalists are in the same kind of arena.
Yeah,
and those guys struggle to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a tricky situation. What I've always wanted, and I think that this maybe exists in film a little bit more, is I thought that it would be. Maybe I should make this my life's goal. It would be wonderful if there was a middleman in this process.
Oh yeah.
If there was some organization that sat between publishers and journalists, it's like, you're going to give us all the review copies of games that you get, and we are going to disseminate them.
Right.
Like, you don't get to talk to journalists. You get to hand us a box with 500 copies, and we're going to go down the list and pick who gets those 500 copies.
Yep.
That
will never happen.
It would make my life easier, because right now you have to contact every company individually.
Yeah.
You just contact one company and be like, I'm putting my name in.
Here you go.
Boom, boom, boom. So
that's a great idea.
Because there's like a film critic association here in Austin, right? That you become a part of, and then they broker you get into screenings and stuff like that.
Sort of.
A little bit?
Yeah, it's not quite so regimented. But
All right. Our next question comes in from Don, and Don says, "Hi, guys. I wanted to know if you've seen the new Lars von Trier movie, Nymphomaniac. I wanted to get your take on it. Personally, I think it's more messed up than his other fucked up movie, Antichrist, but in a different way. That second-to-last scene in part 2 is seared into my brain, I think because he made me like this character." Oh, wait, okay. This is a little bit of a spoiler. He also had some controversial stuff to say about pedophiles. By the way, thanks for recommending The Skin I Live In. That messed me up for a while. Hey, you're welcome, Don. Don from Richmond Hill, New York, everybody. Have you watched Nymphomaniac?
No, I'm not a big Von Trier fan. I like more direct storytelling. I saw Antichrist, and I was like, wow, I don't ever want to see that again. I didn't think it was... I don't know what I thought about it. I can't even give a quality assessment to it.
I thought it was self-indulgent tripe.
Okay, there you go.
From the beginning to the end.
Yeah. I'm not a Von Trier fan, really. It doesn't do it for me. And I know it really resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, you know what? Not my bag. So I'm in no hurry to watch Nymphomaniac.
Okay, so I actually rented, I believe, an on-demand Antichrist after some people talked to me about it, and I'm not friends with those people anymore. So this time around, I'm sorry, but I acquired Nymphomaniac through other means, shall we say?
Okay.
And I loaded up both parts.
Yeah.
And I started skipping through it, and there wasn't nearly enough nudity or sexiness in there.
I thought it was all nudity and sexiness.
I did too, and I kept thinking, am I just skipping over? Am I like advancing by 2 minutes, and it's every other minute?
So you ended up watching the whole thing.
Go back, watching it a little bit at a time, and just going like, I don't have any interest in Charlotte Gainsbourg's fucking journey of sexual discovery, man.
Yeah.
I've seen that story a bunch of times, and okay, so there's some weirdness here.
If you want to watch that, you just watch Emmanuel Goes to Paris or something.
Well, without, hey, spoilers, you guys, this is a description of a scene, but whatever. There was one scene where she's sitting there, and it's a monologue, and she's talking about she wanted to do her first DP, right?
Oh, yeah.
And with these two giant African American dudes, right? Yeah. And so there's one part where they start to get going, and then there's an argument between the two guys, and I think they're speaking a foreign language. They're foreign, and there's a scene that's framed where it's like her sitting on the bed, and it's just the two dudes' wangs, like in the camera, waving back and forth in the foreground as they argue.
Just dong.
And she's narrating over the top about why they're arguing and stuff like this, and I'm just like, this plus. You saw Antichrist. You know that, like, the Von Trier, dirty, kind of washed out stuff, the kind of camera film style, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to watch naked people doing it like that. And
looks all sickly and everything.
Yeah. And I kept tracking through it going, and I'm sure it's one of those things where if you sit down and you get into the story, wonderful. But, like, I did that with Dogville, and it was all right. And I turned off Manderley, and then, like, you went into Antichrist, and I got to the end of that and was like, fuck you. Fuck you. There's no reason. This is shock value.
Not a fan.
Not a fan. So there you go. I think I like some of his older stuff. Also, wasn't he the Nazis at the Cannes thing with him?
Oh, yeah. That was him.
Yeah. All right, our next one comes in from Orlando. I brought this one up for you, Jason.
Oh, boy.
Hello, Jeff and Jason. I want to get some of that fantastic lady getting some stank on my hang-down advice you dudes so amazingly give.
Yep.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet like a sugar-coated midget. Whoa. I've recently moved schools, and in my old school, I had, quote, the hose on their toes like a cold floor, unquote. But here, I'm invisible. Other than public nudity and sweet, sweet homicide, how do I get some attention? Especially from this one lady I've had my eyes on. She's one of those innocent on the outside, but you just know she's a beast in the sack. I'm in need of guidance. Praise be to Dongacles. Thank you so much for reading. And what do we got? P.S. We love you guys up here in Alaska. Keep on the good stuff. PPS going to become a full member on the site soon, literally right after the email gets sent. Hoping for the username Monk of Dong. So,
Oh, Orlando.
Jeff is inept with women, so you got to tell this guy. Axe body spray.
Well,
V-necks, khaki shorts.
praise be to Dongacles is the first way to do it.
Okay.
That's step number one.
So you Jehovah's Witness, you Dongacles witness, or
No.
Have you felt the love
You
of
just
Dongacles?
make sure you've waved your dick at the sky.
Okay.
And
is that what you are we making up rules now for
we're
Dongacles?
making up rites and rituals right now.
You got to go outside, you got to crab walk, and then you got
Hail Dongacles! Don't let her see you do that. Unless you're really hung, then you can do it.
Make the sign of the cross with your wang.
With your wang. Yep. I would walk up and be like, hey, you should probably send this into Charles St. Charles, but I don't think he has an email address.
He hasn't given us any of his assets, though. Like,
hasn't.
we don't know what.
We don't know how to contact
it's
him.
cold open, man. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
He just kind of shows up every now and then. I would.
no, I'm talking about Orlando, not
Orlando.
not Charles St. Charles.
Yeah.
He hasn't given us any lead about like what can
Yeah.
you use, man? What do you got?
Like, yeah.
Are you good looking?
yeah.
Are you smart? Or,
Yeah, it's we need to know a little bit more about what she's like,
right.
what you're like.
But just as a general question,
you walk up and be like, "Hey, I want to put my fingers in your butthole."
I would recommend against that, Orlando. I would recommend
Hey,
walking up and
maybe.
going, "Hey, what do you like?"
No, confidence is key.
Uh-huh.
Confidence. This is the actual honest answer.
Right.
Have some swagger in your walk, man. Don't be. Actually, you know what? You can be overconfident.
Yes.
Do that. That's fine. But you walk up, and this is easier said than done. I recognize that. This is actually kind of difficult. But
I mean, I want to remind you also that it seems like this gentleman is in probably high school. I'm going to
high school,
assume.
yeah.
I'm going to assume from saying I moved schools.
yeah,
Maybe college.
maybe.
I hope this.
Yep.
I hope you're not Orlando. I'm sorry, but I hope you're not in middle school and listening to this podcast.
Yeah, if we're talking, I didn't even think about that. If you're underage, don't do the butthole thing.
Right.
Don't wave your dick at the sky. Don't do
Right.
any of that.
Right.
I would like to retract all of that.
Pay no attention to anything Jason Murphy says.
Yes. God, we should ask that question.
All emails need to come with a picture of your valid ID.
Yeah, your driver's license. Confidence, man.
Confidence.
Just walk up. You got to find a conversation in.
Yep.
If she's reading something, if she's eating something like that, you just walk up and sit down next to her.
Yo, baby,
Hey,
I
how's
hear
it
you
going?
I see you like fruit roll-ups.
Yeah. Like, hey, I'm Orlando. And really, it's all just about, having a good conversation and just being confident.
Yep. This is true. It's very, very true.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. I mean, that's not it. That's not all there is to it. But that is the most important thing where all of the other factors are irrelevant.
Okay, so let's try to extrapolate a little bit here, real fast.
Okay.
So in Orlando's previous school, he had the hose on their toes like a cold floor.
Okay.
So obviously Orlando's got some.
He's got
moves,
some
maybe.
game.
So he's the new guy, though, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He's the new guy.
He's
and
invisible.
People aren't.
Yep.
So I guess. I don't know that situation. The new guy in school. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
listen.
Hey, join some clubs.
join some clubs.
Also, no, seriously.
Get in some cliques. Sit
Yeah.
with the people.
No, join some, find out what she's in.
Yeah.
Like if she's in, whatever, chess club,
Band.
math club, band, whatever. Do that.
Math club like
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan.
It's okay to stalk her to a certain extent.
Just don't be creepy about it.
Yeah, don't be creepy about
And
it.
whatever the fuck you do, Orlando sent this in before. He sent this in actually last month, so we're answering it again. He sent it in again. But for God's sake, Orlando, don't do what Jeff does. If you are interested in this woman, and if you haven't yet talked to her at this point, you need to do that shit now. Because if she sees you like eyeing her for a month, especially in high school,
you're the creepy guy.
You get creeped out, man.
Fortune favors the bold.
Yep. And
you have nothing to lose. You have nothing to be afraid of.
And I can tell you from experience that there is probably, unless you just take your pants off or directly sexual assault somebody, there is nothing that you can say that's going to be as awkward and fucked up as staring at somebody across the lunchroom for a month.
Right.
Or, lusting after somebody. And at least if you go up and talk to her and she's like, get away from me, you creep, find somebody else. You're in school.
Yeah.
You know how awesome school is for meeting women?
Oh, my. It's the best.
Like, when you're an adult, like, fuck, man, it's so hard to even find them anywhere. They're all clicked up. They got the ladies with it, blah, blah, blah.
Orlando, I didn't find my abilities.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I had no confidence until I was like 30 years old. So don't sweat it. But here's a way to get a jump on the game. Just walk on in there like you're a bad motherfucker.
Yep. Yeah. So there you go, Orlando. All right, got a few more here. Our next one comes in from Mike. Mike says, Dear Jeff and Jason, happy birthday, Jeff. Thank you very much. I will try and submit this question again. If you don't read it on the next show, I will take it as a question that you don't like, which is no problem. I'm a recent Patreon subscriber. First time to ask a question and huge fan since the old days. Since Jason wanted more horror movie questions, here is one. What are your favorite David Cronenberg films? Mine are Dead Ringers, Videodrome, The Fly, and Naked Lunch. You can't pick 4 favorites. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's like half his body of work.
Out of his 10 or whatever.
I think Dead Ringers is a masterpiece with arguably the best performance in all of film history by Jeremy Irons. He is phenomenal, playing not one but 2 different characters that are just similar yet different enough that you truly think they are 2 different people. Keep up the incredible work. P.S. I agree with Jason about Dario Argento. His films make no fucking sense because all he cares about is the visuals. I disagree that Phenomena is his best. My opinion is that Deep Red is his best because he got an actual screenwriter to write the film instead of himself. And for the most part, sticks with its logic and tells a good story. Mike.
Yeah, that's can't really argue with that. Deep Red's pretty solid and is a good point.
See.
David Cronenberg's one of my favorite filmmakers. I love his early stuff.
Scanners.
His horror stuff. Yeah, Scanners is great. My 2 favorites are Videodrome and The Brood. I really like The Brood because I feel like that is his most horrific horror movie. As far as that's the one that is the most.
Oh wow!
That is the most easily classified as a horror film.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
I've seen Crash a lot.
Really? I watched it once. I liked it. Yeah.
I've actually read the book, and I think it's a very good adaptation of the book. It's a very interesting movie, and it Cronenberg does some. It's like that's a good lead up for him with a lot of his other movies about bringing kind of like. It's kind of body horror. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Crash is about people who get off in car crashes.
Yeah.
And so there's kind of some body horror there in the way that the people have been mangled by car crashes, but there's also a shit ton of sex. And James Spader fucking all over the place.
Being James Spader.
Being James Spader.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that M. Butterfly was him. I saw that once a long time ago.
Yeah. That's when he started branching away from horror.
Yeah.
But really his last horror movie was in 1988.
Yeah.
Dead Ringers, which is great. The Fly is amazing, one of the best remakes ever.
Yep.
Dead Zone is great. Scanners. See, I like all of his 80s output.
I think that for me it was after Existence that I stopped really liking what he Spider was okay.
I honestly hated Spider.
Yeah.
I hated Spider.
Yeah.
But I really liked A History of Violence and Eastern Promises, but I haven't seen anything since.
I didn't really care as much for everybody was real there was one thing about. Do you remember this when The History of Violence came out? There were some people that I knew, and I don't remember any of them specifically, who were like, because there's a scene in that movie where fucking Vigo kind of just like forces himself on Maria Bello.
Yeah, he does.
There were some people or articles or something I was reading that was like, that was really sexy, and I'm just like,
it was ugly, and it was
horrifying. Yeah. I don't know. History of Violence and Eastern Promises just didn't do it for me as much for the Cronenberg stuff.
I liked him. History of Violence is actually based on a graphic novel.
Yeah, yep. I think that probably my favorite though of all of his is probably Naked Lunch. Honestly.
Oh, see, I didn't dig Naked Lunch.
I'm a big Burroughs fan, and that really Plus, Peter Weller was the perfect person to play the lead. In,
He did a great job.
William Burroughs as William Burroughs, but that's probably the movie of his that I've seen more than any. I do. I never saw Shivers. I never saw. Rabid was the first one that I saw, and I've only seen The Scanners once. I've never seen The Brood. But
The Brood. I love The Brood, but it is like a straight horror film. I think Cronenberg is actually a very intelligent, brilliant even director.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Videodrome, it's just so prescient as far as how the media age goes. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's saturated with all of the like Marshall McLuhan theory and stuff like that. He's a very forward-thinking kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen A Dangerous Method or Cosmopolis yet. I don't think Maps to the Stars has been released.
Well, one of my terrible alcoholic friend Aaron, who loves movies that other people really don't like, keeps telling he was on me for like a month to watch Cosmopolis.
Okay.
And he was like, "Yeah, of course it's really boring. It's supposed to be. That's what." And I was just like, like he was on me to watch. What was the one? God damn it! The dude from Drive.
Only God Forgives.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
And he was like,
that was really boring.
It was terrible. That's what it was supposed to be. You should watch it. You would hate it. I'm like, that's not why I watch movies, bro.
Right.
He was like, it was brilliant in how much I hated it. I was like, nope, not interested. Not at all interested. So, all right. Next one comes in from Carlos. Gentlemen, I come begging your wise counsel. I like this. I like being the sages on thrones that the commoners come to. Yes, you guys got to start sending us pigs though over email. For a while now, my wife and I have been wanting to get really into comics, but we live paycheck to paycheck and thus cannot afford to keep up with very many books. Money won't be an issue for too much longer, though, as I will hopefully be enlisted in the Air Force by year's end. So if you'd be so kind, I'd love to hear your recommendations on past or present books, writers, and artists that we should look into once the cash is flowing in. I know this the kind of stuff where is what the Google machine is for, but I value your opinions. Thanks a lot. Your loyal fan and patron, Carlos. P.S. In case you were wondering, the books we keep current on are Batman, Wonder Woman, and Black Science.
All good choices. Yeah. Batman and Wonder Woman are actually a couple of the only DC titles that are worth reading anymore. DC just really kind of flubbed it, I think, on a lot of their New 52 stuff. And I'm kind of a Marvel whore. That is well known. But a lot of people who are diehard DCs are still reading way more Marvel than they are DC. It's right now, Hawkeye is really good. The Punisher is 4 issues in. It's great. She-Hulk is fantastic.
Okay.
Daredevil has not had a bad issue in like 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
Superior Spider-Man, started reading it, and it's awesome.
Oh yeah,
I really like it.
Oh goddamn! You've got to come to the bar this weekend because I'm gonna say I want you and Peter to fight. I want you and Peter to fight.
I know Peter will hate it, but man, I held off for like 6 or 7 years, and I really like it. But
did it start wonky and then get better?
I jumped in right into the middle.
Oh, okay.
I picked up
so
right in the middle.
it could have been weak at the beginning.
Could have been. Yeah. But what I've been reading so far, good stuff.
Okay.
I like it a lot. They just wrapped up the Superior Spider-Man this week as of this recording. I thought it was great.
Yep.
Sex Criminals by Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky is really funny and weird.
You keep telling me about
that. It's like an indie comic. It's fantastic. There's one that Brewbreaker is doing right now called Velvet. That's really good. It's a spy thing set in the 60s.
Has Brubaker ever had a bad run?
Yeah, his run on Uncanny X-Men really wasn't that great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that wasn't very good at all. I'm still reading Creepy and Eerie. Those are fun. Just little horror anthologies. What else? Oh, I'm reading The Wraith, a miniseries by Joe Hill, which is a prequel to his novel Nosferatu. I really like that.
Yeah.
Walking Dead, I'm still enjoying that. And they're finally wrapping up this arc that's been going on for like 30 issues.
Yikes.
I dig that though. It's good. I'm reading Amazing X-Men. They just got through their first arc, and it's the latest one was pretty good, but the first arc was great.
Okay.
Jason Aaron, I think, is writing that, if I'm not mistaken. Jason Aaron's one of the big Marvel writers. Charles Soule is he's making a big splash as well. So yeah, that's I think that's a pretty good list.
Sure.
Oh, Ghost Rider, the new Ghost Rider's like 2 issues in.
Yeah.
Can't remember the writer. Felipe, God, is that his name? something or other. And then the artist from The Strange Case of Luther Strode, which was an Image comic, if I'm not mistaken.
Believe so.
Yeah, but the artist from that is doing Ghost Rider, and it's this gearhead kid in East L.A. who drives this like badass Camaro. There's no motorcycle.
Oh, right. Yep.
And it's cool. The art makes it. The art sells it.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's awesome.
I personally, I don't keep up with current comics, but what I would say to you is that if you, when you say wanting to get really into comics, what I do is I'll represent what I normally represent, which is old comics. When I first started reading comics, I was reading artists, and then I finally figured out how to read authors.
Yeah.
It was actually when I was working with Chris Robertson at Dell,
Yeah.
and he handed me Watchmen for the first time, and I realized, fuck artists, fuck Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
I want writers.
Yep.
So I think that you would do better, and some of this is controversial, but I think you could do a lot worse than going into your comic book store and picking up all the old Alan Moore stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like he's a crazy fucking curmudgeon asshole, right?
Yeah. And you can pick a lot of these up used. Check them out on Amazon if you're, if cash is tight, if you've got a half price books or a used bookstore around.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can find a copy of Watchmen or for V for Vendetta
Swamp
or
Thing.
things like that. So all those Swamp Things are so good.
Yeah.
I like Grant Morrison. Like I said,
Most of the time.
we've had there was a big backlash when we talked about this one time on the website, and what I learned was that I liked Grant Morrison up till the end of his run on JLA, which is about kind of where I stopped reading comics.
Oh, sure.
And that after that, apparently he started doing some really dumb shit in Batman, and now everybody hates him or whatever. But like, I liked the stuff that he did in JLA. I liked Marvel Boy as the graphic novel. A lot of his stuff. I'm really a sucker though for Warren Ellis. I really like Warren Ellis an awful lot.
Yeah.
Starting with his run on fucking Excalibur, which was one of those ones where I read like when I was younger, and I was reading it when it's coming out, and I was like, "Why is this so good?"
Yeah.
You know,
Transmetropolitan. He's writing the new Moon Knight right now. Bo hates it. 2 issues in.
Yeah.
I really like it.
If you've never read Warren Ellis's run on first Stormwatch and then Authority,
Yep.
Planetary is one of my favorite comic books of all time, and I know now you can finally get that whole thing wrapped up in one.
Yeah.
Mark Waid's Astro City, the first 4 or 5 volumes of which I think are really good. I like Garth Ennis more than some other people do. I mean, I think that
he
Preacher,
gets a little juvenile, but Preacher is stellar.
I liked Preacher. I liked his run on Punisher. I like The Boys, but I understand why people don't like The Boys. Like I would never try to make anybody, try to like something. So any of those big folks from back to the past. I mean, like was it Brubaker that did all the old, like the Ultimate Spider-Mans we were talking about the other day? Bendis.
Yeah.
The
early run in Ultimate Spider-Man is great.
What, like the first 12 graphic novels or something?
Something like that. Yeah, like the first 100 issues or something like that.
Solid reads.
Yeah.
So I think if you find writers that you like and then follow them around, like not everything that Warren Ellis has done has been great, but like I really like the Filth that he did, and there was a couple of other things. So I just try to find. I also think that it's worthwhile if you've got a good comic book store. What I used to do would be to go into. I used to go to Austin Books all the time, and I go to Austin Books, and I pick up. I know I'm reading this and this and this and this, and then I would go up to the counter and go, "Brad, what's good this week?"
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Well, let me show you." So if you've got a good comic book store, like I'm sure Rogues Gallery could do the same,
yeah,
and a comic book store owner that you have a relationship with, you can go to them and you can be like, "Tell me what's good," and then just pick that stuff up and go.
Absolutely.
All right. Couple more questions and we're out. Next one comes in from the professional. Dear Arbiters of Guidance and Anger Issues, this is a resend more directed at Jason. For some time, I've been working as a first responder. The job is dicey, and my partner, male, and I are very close since we spend so much time watching each other's backs. So assuming he's a police officer, first responder,
or like a paramedic or something like
firefighter,
that.
maybe.
Yeah.
However, the problem comes with women. I've had 2 women who left for the same reason. They felt like the other woman and like they had to compete with my partner. I was wondering what strategies you use to keep the ladies happy, given how much time you guys spend together working. Very respectfully, the professional.
Yeah, people have said on the site, I'm beginning to think that Jason and Jeff are married, not Allison. And there are weeks that go by where I actually spend more time talking to Jeff than I do Allison.
Fucking weird, man.
It is weird, but it's if that's your passion and you're obviously doing something much more noble than talking shit about video games and making dick jokes. Yeah, it's you're gonna find her. You just got to keep looking. I know that's cold comfort, but you are gonna find somebody who will who will respect what you like and what you're passionate about. And clearly you're passionate about what you're doing.
Yep.
And if you work that closely with someone, then you're going to be tight with them. And if somebody's intimidated about that, then maybe they're not the right person. Fortunately, Allison, respects what I do. She loves it. She knows that it's good, that I enjoy it and everything, and so she doesn't feel intimidated. She doesn't feel crowded out or anything like that. There's going to be somebody that will respect that. So you just got to keep looking and be upfront with them. Don't push your first responder partner off until you get committed, and then you bring them in and you let them know, hey, I spend most of my time with this person.
Yeah.
Because that's disingenuous, and you're just setting yourself up and her up for disappointment.
Yeah. I'm also friends with Allison.
Well, yeah, there's also that.
That makes a difference. Like, if you start dating somebody, a lot of times you'll, like, rope them off from your friends or whatever.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, Allison and I have all the same friends, so that's helpful.
Yep. All right, and that's our show for the week. We ran a little bit long today, so I got to put a whole bunch of T-shirts in a bunch of bags.
Yeah.
And so we'll be back next week. I'm going to start putting this show up every Sunday. This is going to be we asked for a schedule, and this is what I came up with, and I'll say this, but I'm going to post it somewhere else. Monday is the Academy. Wednesday is Savage Tits. Friday is Grant versus Games. Sunday is the podcast. Reviews on Tuesday if we've got them that week, and then daily videos throughout the rest.
Daily Dojo.
Yeah, Daily Dojo, Indie Friday, Sequential Saturday.
Yeah.
Good to go. So, folks, the email address, if you want to send in your questions, is mail@rageselect.com. It's mail@rageselect.com. I think we've made it really clear over the last few weeks that you don't have to just send in video game questions.
Yeah.
We'll fucking talk about whatevs.
Yeah.
So that's it, and we are out of here.